Hello, everyone, and welcome to Weaverbirds Live TV with me, Karen Weaver, and yes,
Emma Weaver.
you are back for season 2, episode 1 of Weaverbirds Live TV. Welcome. You will know that we have now a different time. I'm actually awake. So is Emma, and hopefully our guest is too, because she's coming in from the US and it's first thing in the morning for her.
We're across all time zones again.
We are, and we took a big break there for like 6 weeks, and we hope that you get inspired by that, because it wasn't our intention to have seasons, but we're going to do seasons because sometimes you just need a break. And we done 27 weeks, non-stop with the show for season 1, and we're back for season 2 with some amazing guests. And we have the amazing Sonee Singh that we met at the castle in 2019, and she's just released her poetry book with MMH Press, so it's wonderful. But sis, you have been doing so much.
Oh my goodness, I'm feeling all the love. You know the way you think nobody passes any remarks, and I kind of try to say not very much, and then all these things pop up and everybody's like, oh my goodness, it's so good, we've got your back, it's great to see you doing things. So it all looks great across social media, but honestly the message really is still the same: invest in your mental wealth, and that is where you're going to find riches. It's not about anything else. So I'm really still driving that forward. Mental Wealth International has taken a whole other direction that I never could have imagined. And again, it's amazing when you make space for things in your life, what shows up. And I know you were just saying we'd taken the 6 weeks off, but there's power in the pause. There's power in that vacuum, that space. We've often talked about it. The universe will always fill a void if you want to fill it. So I'm just enjoying saying yes to new things, saying no to things, aligning everything up with what the real vision and passion and purpose behind Mental Wealth International is, and of course spending more time with my beautiful children, which is awesome.
Because you did have a huge life transition after being very much full-time in mental health environment. You moved out of 22 years into, it was a huge transition for you. And how's that going?
Yeah, it was a big deal. And indeed, I stayed on a couple of extra weeks. I stayed on a couple of extra weeks just to help out on that. That actually really worked better for me, because when I was initially leaving, I had a feeling that I can't even explain it. I couldn't even explain it to the team. It just feels better now. Everything feels more settled, better and aligned. 22 years working in recovery-based services to now kind of leading my own way and making my own, putting my own stand on things is harsh.
Whereas it's more preventative, isn't it? Prevention is better than cure. So invest in your mental wealth and you will go far. And that's it. You're becoming this brand for that. You're getting people to think. And it's the same, like I'm mission based, helping people share their stories with the world. That's what my mission is. Yours is to help people acknowledge when they need to embrace their, invest in their mental wealth, their well-being. It's just so important. And no better time than to introduce our guest, who is Sonee Singh, we met in the castle. We talked about this magical thing, but whenever she was going through COVID on her own in the US, in her apartment, and there was a lot of energy around in that. She wrote poetry, and it's just been released. See behind me, in body, that's it. They're released. We're going to welcome Sonee. Come in and join us. I'm going to put a side by side.
Yay!
Hello.
Hi.
We've got the three amigos here.
I know, when the screen goes sideways like that, it changes everything. So it's lovely to have you here, Sonee. It's great to connect with you again.
Well, it's so great to be here and to see your beautiful faces, even through a screen. I wish we could also be in person, but we've got to go with the times.
we're covering the globe here. We are, Australia, Ireland, and Idaho. That's the thing, is we've got it all covered. So, Sonee, tell us. I know we talked about this last night, but our viewers here are not our viewers for MMH Press. So, can you share with us about this amazing book that you have released, and also what you're a novelist as well, and how you do life, and how we kind of ended up all finding each other at an Irish castle as well.
Definitely. So, I mean, I have been working on a novel for the past 3 years, and that's what brought me to you, what connected me to you ladies at Crom Castle 2 years ago. Was it exactly 2 years?
2 years ago this time we were.
Oh my goodness!
It's crazy.
I'm getting all my memories on Facebook, and I'm going, "Oh, we're supposed to be there now." Yeah.
And that was, I mean, such an incredible experience, and it really fueled me into, especially seeing so many other authors. At that point, I was, just working on a draft, which I still only have a draft, but it was really inspirational, I think, just to see people who have already published work. It really motivated me to continue working. So it was working on the novel, I should say. And so it was after that that I decided to actually focus on writing full time. I hadn't done it before. And so at the time that COVID hit, there were several things that were happening. I was on my own. At the time, I was living by myself. And I also had all this time in front of me, sitting in my apartment where I was supposed to be writing, and all of a sudden facing this kind of reality that is changing around us. And I didn't really know how to process or assimilate what was going on. I do a lot of freehand writing as well, with journaling type thing. And I realized that as I was making sense of the experience, poetry started coming out. And it didn't come out in an intentional way. It came out in prose, except that when I would read it again and look back, I'd think to myself, I think that sounds like poetry. And so I'd start like putting the sentences out into stanzas and fixing it. And lo and behold, it just spurred something. We talked about it yesterday. It was like I was channeling something. In many ways, it felt like it was from beyond me, and words would just come. And then once I started, I couldn't stop.
Isn't it a powerful experience when that happens? And it's as if you've pulled the plug and it, on something, and it's just channeling, flowing right through you, and you can't stop it. And why would you want to? Like, that's divine energy, and it's a gift that's coming through you to help you through the experience, because poetry is an amazing way to express yourself, but also an amazing way for others to connect with the power of the written word, and to heal and to connect with somebody through something that they may feel out of control about.
Absolutely. And I think, the thing with poetry is that it's very emotive, but they're short experiences. You don't really have to indulge in them for a long time. You just, have to read a snapshot, essentially. And that in and of itself conveys so much. And I think that's what makes poetry so relatable.
It is
absolutely.
It's not easy, is it?
Sorry.
But isn't it not easy? I mean, you've written poetry.
I love poetry. It's really something. And I love writing it. I love reading it. And do you know what I also love about poetry as well? Is people interpret it in different ways depending on what's going on in their life. And I think that's the magic of poetry, because, as you say, it's channeling to you through your vision or your eyes. However, as a poet now, as a published poet, you're now gifting the world to process it or interpret it in whatever way other people do, albeit that it is came initially from you. And that's what I just love that about poetry. Absolutely.
Well, and I feel also that once you release the poem, it goes into the hands of whoever reads it. The poet sort of just puts it out there. I mean, I went through the experience in a way. I documented it, and then I released it, and then it's up to whoever reads it to interpret it and feel whatever it is that they're going to feel when they read the poem. And I think that's the beauty of all writing, really. But poetry, just because it's so short and sweet, that it really packs a punch in that way.
And I must say, Emma, she's a best-selling poet. She went to #1 very fast in
Woohoo!
Australia.
I'm not surprised. That is amazing. Well done. Well done.
It's beautiful. It's a
Yes.
beautiful book.
It's
Beautiful
been a
connection.
blessing because it's only been out for a week. So for
Yeah.
it to be best-selling in such a short time has been
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Well, that's the thing. Australia is that market that, if you release in there, you can really hit #1 on a good day, quite fast. But,
But it's
I know.
quite it's, as you see, whenever you use that word emotive, that is the thing about poetry. It's emotions. You're evoking something, and like that's a talent. Not everybody can do that. That's why I absolutely love it. But your cover's amazing. I mean, there wouldn't be too many people that could walk by that without lifting it to take a look and think, like, I mean, oh my goodness, the richness of it. Like,
It's so beautiful.
It's up. So I'm not surprised
Gorgeous.
it went straight to #1, if I'm honest.
Oh, thank you.
And
It is a beautiful
embody.
design, though.
Yeah, it's the first of 3. So can you talk about each collection? Because what you give us a snippet into the journey, which is the 3 books. So there's Embody, which is, embodying, and then.
Yeah, so Embody, I mean, the collection is based on the experiences that I went through with COVID, and then I think a lot of us have been going through. One was just having that stillness of the first few months, at least for me, that were in lockdown and in isolation, where I just allowed the feelings to come through, and I felt them very, very much in my being. And so that's why this first collection of poetry is called Embody. Then the next collection is called Embrace, and that was accepting it, just coming to terms with what was happening, being at peace with what was happening, knowing that what was happening was out of our control, and it was what was happening externally, what was happening internally, and then using that as a way to move forward in a positive way. And so the third collection is called Empower. So it's kind of the progression of the experience.
It's also not just, it's not just COVID related. It's just that but it's a journey, isn't it? It's a journey of different parts. So when I read your poems, I don't think COVID, I think journey, the journey that we go through whenever we experience something we may
Definitely.
not.
And even though all of these happened during COVID, very, very few actually have to do with COVID.
Yes. It is.
I mean, there is a reference just because naturally that's what was going on, and I was very much in the moment. But it was also a chance for me to reflect back on a lot of things, on my life, on my relationships, on the people around me, on what I was seeing. And so, yes, even though it is in a way how I experienced all of that, it also has to do more with life, I think, than just pure COVID.
Absolutely. She nearly made me cry yesterday, Emma, when she read Magic, and I got I read it before, but I didn't know the meaning in it. I was just like, wow. Are you going to read one for us today, Sonee?
Oh,
I am. And I was hearing your conversation earlier, especially with Emma and all the transition that she's been going through, and sort of, claiming yourself and your being. So this poem is called Come Home. And it is about a lot of what I like to write about, which is honoring who we are as people, because sometimes in the craziness of life, we forget. We get so sidetracked by everything that is going around us that we forget to honor ourselves. So this is Come Home. Row your boat ashore if you've been drifting. Get ever closer to being yourself. It's time to come home. Take one step. Smile, laugh, and play. Love unconditionally. Trust blindly, never leave. Love wholly in all that you are.
See? Don't you just, like, those words just come together and they just transcend us somewhere else? Like, wow.
I love
really,
then
really...
how you use the boat as well. There's something that's symbolic in that, isn't there? Like, it's lovely. Oh, well done. Well done.
And that actually came, in fact, and we were talking about this a little bit yesterday with Karen. It's just the inspirations of the poem sometimes come from really unexpected places. And this one started from listening or hearing a song called Michael, Row Your Boat Ashore. And in hearing that music, it was very, very much kind of what I felt was a sense of calling the person home, or calling myself home. And so that's where this poem came from.
Amazing. Oh, that's what I said. I love the stories behind each one. There's a story behind every poem. And this book, I know I said 260 pages. There's 230 pages of beautiful poems in this collection. Sonee, I think everyone can find you at soneesingh.com and on
Yes.
Facebook, and you're everywhere. So go and find her, hunt her down, and watch what she's doing, because it's beautiful. And thank you so much for coming in for a chat with us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad we managed to connect.
Lovely to see you. Well done. Hey, oh my goodness. Do you know what I'm intrigued about? That the story, this is sometimes what happens, and I've often heard Karen saying this. Karen start one book and then put that aside, and then another book will come along. So what you thought you were going to do through the book has actually now come out as a trilogy of poetry, which is amazing. You followed your call. You just, you sat in the moment and weren't afraid to go a different direction than what you thought that you were going to go.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's part of what is conveyed even in the poetry, is just having the openness to experience life and the opportunities that come. And sometimes, we have a plan and we have a goal, but we don't necessarily have to determine how it gets there. We just have to be open to the opportunities. And like you were saying, Emma, I'm going to quote you. You have to learn to say yes to a few things and no to a few others.
I'm learning that. It is. And having the courage, it takes courage and really knowing yourself to know what it is, what's for you and what's not, honoring that.
Yes, honoring yourself and having that clarity of what feels right for you versus, what just doesn't feel right and doesn't resonate with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Isn't she inspiring?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Sonee, thank you so much for joining us. We are absolutely and helping us kick off season 2.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Well,
don't forget.
It's been an honor.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm going to put you backstage, but please feel free to go, because I know you have to go somewhere. Usually we'd be pulling you back up after we stop with live, but you feel free to go. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch up again soon.
Yes.
Thank you, Sonee.
All the best. Bye.
Bye. Isn't she amazing, Emma?
Oh, it was so lovely to reconnect, and even what we were saying, like, you can just see how amazing it was to have her on and chat, because it's just aligned even with what we're talking about. It's all, I love even the name of the 3 books, and you can see the journey through them, and it's so affiliated with life.
Oh, absolutely. And even what we talk about on this show, like, we're pretty raw with what we share, and just have a bit of crack and stuff. But life is life, and sometimes we have to feel it, we have to embody it, and move on. And sometimes it's uncomfortable, but when we connect with that kind of essence, especially the essence in this poetry, like she just read that short poem, like those words individually are just words, but whatever way she weaves them together, it's just blooming magic. Beautiful. She's just so gifted. I couldn't do it. That's
poetry.
It's
absolutely beautiful, Karen. It's such a beautiful way to communicate a message, if that's what you're trying to do, or allow the other person to wherever they're at to kind of take it whatever way they want. It's amazing. It's really good. It's the feeling. It's all the feels.
It's all the feels. It is. So what are you up to this week, sis, so that we can...
I am heading with the girls to the Entrepreneur Circle in Birmingham, which is a full weekend event to do with entrepreneurs and their businesses and learning, and there's loads of guest speakers.
You are going to be able to tell us so much next week.
Yeah, there's loads of guest speakers at it, Karen. Some people from Dragon's Den, some inspirational people talking about. And you know what I love about this group? It's all ladies, it's all women, and it's all entrepreneurs with heart. Everything, it's all heartfelt, and I'm just really enjoying it and all the rest. So it's all good. I'll be away all weekend. It's not like me to go anywhere, to be honest with you.
You find your tribe, and I'm the same with the Osmom group. That's where it's just that, and when you get into you just grow so much, because not only energetically do you grow in confidence, but you know that you're supported and you just rise through it, and everybody rises together because everybody's united and everybody, you know, and just
Totally.
knowing that's there, it's just so special.
I love women supporting women.
For
What
me,
about you?
I'm cruising. I'm cruising this week.
You're in
I've had a
cruise
few book
mode because the kids
launches.
are off.
Yeah, my kids are on school holidays, so I'm in a total cruise control. I'm writing. I'm doing a few bits and pieces work-wise. I've got a book launch tomorrow night, just for an hour in my local library. But other than
Lovely.
that, my brain, I had a birthday party today.
Yes, the
You know,
bouncing. Oh my gosh. Did you get, are you allowed on it? No?
somebody said to me, "What are you doing?" I'm says, I just, I'm my inner child is out at the moment because of school holidays. I just love it. It's so much fun. And then I get my act together whenever it comes back. Whenever they're all back.
But you know what I love, Karen? Some people dread school holidays. You can't wait for them. You love it. It's where your creative side comes out. You just get to embrace all kids. You do something every day. You're so active and you just love it.
We love it, and I always get time to write. And now that this holiday is nice weather, I've got my outdoor office going, and things like that. And we're in the middle of renovations and stuff with the house, but all good, all working, you know, towards
bigger
more
goals.
Comfort, more room.
Yes, absolutely. That's what you want. It's great.
It's
the
so
kids
good.
are getting older now too. You see, they need more space.
Yes, and one of the things that I do that is a key tip for anybody, I always focus on the I cans. I don't focus on the I can'ts. So if there's something that's creating a block around something or whatever, I give it time to shift. And a lot of people are in the world are stuck in I can'ts. Like I'm lucky that I'm blessed that I'm in Perth, Western Australia. We have a lot of I cans that we can do, but you know, whenever I'm limited, you know, like for example, with Kira, God love her, you know, we have been limited as to where I can go. I have to stay close by for her and things like that. But I focus on the I cans, you know, she'll come to the radio station with me to do the show, and we'll give her a little job, and you know, so things like that. So we focus on the I cans and don't give the I can'ts too much energy. So there's always lots of fun things to do. So we focus the energy in that, and there's so much fun.
You do have fun, to be fair.
Yes, I do. I'm very lucky. Absolutely. Right, sis, we are going to be back next week, episode 2 of season 2, and we cannot wait to share with you more guests. If you are someone who wants to come on our show, PM us and let us know, and we put you in the lineup, because we have 20 odd weeks of this season, and we want to showcase amazing people like Sonee, like Kathy DeMarcus, who's coming to join us next week. You do not have to be an author. Just come and join.
No, we've got loads of people lined up already, but give us a PM and we'll get in the lineup as well.
We do. We have about 10 to 12 weeks lined up already for this season. But, you know, come and chat with us. And we like to find new people, don't we? We have so many amazing people in our circle, but we like to find
a Weaverbird.
Weaverbird, yes, exactly. All right, sis. Love you.
Love you. Lovely
Bye,
to chat.
everybody.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye.